right, so here we go. Future-proofing you. This is part 1, the 12 truths. Starts off with saying, you were not born a winner, you were born a loser. You are what you make yourself to be. By Lou Holtz. And that was his, something he said. And some might say, you know what, that's pretty cool. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, that's a different way to see it. Others may say, well, I was born a winner and I'm gonna be a winner. And that's cool too. Like, we all have our different perceptions on things in life, and it's totally fine, because self-perception is something like saying, you know what, no, I was born a winner and I'm gonna continue to be a winner, and that's cool. That's your self-perception, and that's a great self-perception. His, on the other hand, was, I wasn't born a winner. I had to make myself a winner. I was actually born a loser. I had nothing. I was born with nothing. My parents had something. I had nothing. The only thing I had that was value was my life. My life was the only value I had, but how was I contributing to life? So he straight off the bat said, you know, I was born a loser. And just reading that, I'm like, okay, that's a different way to see it. And then he goes into saying, you are what you make yourself to be. So I'm like, now I understand why he says you were not born a winner, you were born a loser. And then it goes into, starts off right off, truth number 1, you must have a growth mindset. And that's something I truly believe, right? You have to have a growth mindset. But it goes into a study by Ohio State University economist and scientist Jay Samir. He tracked the progress of 10,000 participants from 1979 to the present. And he studied those with the highest IQ to those with to very low IQs. And it literally says, if you didn't get good grades in school, it doesn't matter. Standardized tests and rigid curriculums do a poor job of measuring creativity and drive. It really goes into, you don't have to be the smartest person in the world to be the most successful. You have to have self-perception. Self-perception is the most important than any other factor in predicting success. And I believe that. I mean, just going based off this quote, I mean, it's all about self-perception, how you see yourself. And there's other things that go into manifestation and speaking into existence, but self-perception is really kind of like what Kobe Bryant had going in when he played basketball. He's like, I'm the best of the best, and that's how I'm gonna play, and I will be the best of the best. And there could have been someone better than him, but he didn't see it that way. He didn't care there was someone better than him, because if there was someone better than him, he was gonna find every way to be better than that person. So it's about self-perception. It's about how you see yourself and how you believe yourself. Believing in your ability to succeed is the key to becoming future-proof. In 1950, the average American family income was $3,300 a year. And the median home price was $7,354. In other words, a house cost a little more than 2 years' wages. Imagine that. Imagine today. Minimum wage and how much a home in California costs, the median average price about $500,000, $600,000, and with the minimum wage job, you can't make it. You really can't on just one source of income. But that difference, 1950 to 2021, sheesh. It says in 2017, Foxconn announced that their goal is to replace all 1.2 million employees with automation. Foxconn is the world's largest manufacturer and maker of the iPhone. Now has 10 lights out production lines. The lights are out in the building because no humans work on those production lines. So that itself, this company's their goal is to replace 1.2 million employees with automation. So tell me, is this world really looking at you to build you as an opportunity for growth, or do you have to put in the work to build and create opportunities for you to grow? So it's more about how it's no longer pointing fingers of why you can't make something happen. You really can't, because as them, they're a business owner. They're gonna try to do the best that's gonna help them make the most money. Now, does it sound selfish? It does sound on their part, it doesn't sound selfish. On our part, it's like, yo, that sounds selfish. Like, how are you gonna replace employees with automation. Like, don't you care about people? Research now shows that earning a degree from a major university has no long-term impact on income, job satisfaction, or life satisfaction. Now, there's always that debate, like, you don't need a degree to be successful, or you need a degree to be successful. My opinion, like my own views, I feel like you put in the work to where you want to be. And if a degree is in your road and that's what you want to do, then that's your success. For a person who doesn't believe a degree is their success, then that doesn't automatically mean a degree isn't success. It's not your success, it's somebody else's success. But it just goes to show you that argument, like, you don't need to go to university, technically, that depends. I mean, university is going to give you knowledge, right? And you could find this knowledge from somebody else that has their own course on YouTube now or on their own website, and that's totally true. The only thing is the universities have more resources to offer, easier too, like, and more people you can trust. It's an established establishment. Like, you don't need to go looking for the right answers, and hopefully you find a good person and not a bad person. That's what universities, I believe, have to offer, like a safe place to really find the information you're looking for. But I bring this up because there's this picture, this meme that says, like, just because you have a degree doesn't make you smart. And then a lot of people who don't go to school use this image and, like, say, like, just because you got a degree doesn't make you smart. But just because you don't have a degree doesn't make you smart either. And just because you don't need to go to university doesn't necessarily mean it's the wrong thing to do. Everybody has their own level of success. And if going to university and graduating from one is somebody's success, that's a successful accomplishment. It's a milestone for many people. And it's also a milestone many people can't accomplish. Wealth comes from creating money, not earning and saving it. So, reread the sentence. One doesn't get rich by accumulating and saving money. One gets rich by creating money. Money and the value it represents can be created from thin air as if by an alchemist using magic. Wealthy people create money that wouldn't have existed if not for their efforts. So, yeah, I mean, just saving money in your savings account, especially like Bank of America or Chase, that interest rate you get back from your savings account is embarrassing compared to, for example, like a Logix. A Logix is a credit union that actually gives you a higher percentage where you're seeing dollars instead of pennies. Whereas like Bank of America and Chase, you're gonna see that pennies. However, inflation affects money. So in order to be rich, saving isn't going to be much anymore because of inflation. But creating money, that's a different story. So it gives an example of a zero-sum game. For example, poker is a zero-sum game. You can't win more money at a poker game than the other players bring to the table. He mentioned this because most people say in order to make money, someone has to win, somebody has to lose. So I make this salt, for $2, I sell it to Mark for $4. I made a $2 profit, Mark lost his $4. And people say, well, this is the way to get rich, right? Reselling, flipping, like this way is gonna make you money. But then he goes into how that doesn't create wealth, right? That creates profit and it creates an income. But to create wealth, then you need to create value. You need to create something that's not only going to bring you monetary value, but it's going to bring others value. Now, when others share in this value, that's when the money and wealth creates itself. Because instead of one winning, one losing, now it's everybody's winning and no one's losing. And that's an example of wealth comes from creating money, not earning and saving it. All right, check this out. It says, in their 2006 book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, Stanford professor Cara Dweck coined the term growth mindset. She studied the differences among children who had fixed mindsets. So those who had fixed mindsets believed they were stupid and there was nothing they could do about it. Example, I'm not bright enough to learn algebra. So for them, intelligence was failure predestined. Why try when the outcome will always be disappointing? So in the beginning of the book, he gave an example about an elephant with a fixed mindset. So an elephant that's 8,000 pounds is tied up to a ledge by a little rope. And somebody asked the owner, like, hey, how is it that this elephant doesn't break through that rope? And he says, well, since the elephant was small, we always tied him up with the same rope. So over time, every day, every year that this elephant was tied up to the ledge and couldn't escape as he tried when he was little, when he finally grew up, decided, you know what, there's really no point, I can't break this. So now, as an 8,000 pound elephant who has all the strength to break through it, has a fixed mindset that I can no longer do it. And then the other students that she studied were students with a growth mindset. They saw the world completely different. These students believe that with work and effort, they could improve and grow smarter. The example is, if I make flashcards, I'll ace my Spanish test. The more you believe that you can improve, the more effort you will put towards your goals. So over time, students with a growth mindset attain higher achievement and a more positive outlook on life. Positive thinking expands creativity, increases energy, raises intelligence, and even closes more sales. Success doesn't make you happy. Being happy creates success. As long as you're in control of your happiness, you are future-proof. The human brain is not hardwired from birth. Numerous studies in neuroscience have proven that the connectivity between neurons in the brain's neural network grow with experience. The brain's plasticity, the degree to which it is malleable, can be improved by basic actions such as asking questions, eating healthy foods, and getting enough sleep. Turns out, science supports everything your mother told you to do as a kid, so how does an adult develop a growth mindset? The first truth you must accept for future-proofing you is that nothing can be achieved without a growth mindset. Developing and maintaining a growth mindset is the foundation upon which all other great accomplishments can be achieved. This growth mindset is based on the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your efforts. So Cara Dweck writes in her book, Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, although people may differ in every which way in their initial talents, aptitude, interests, or temperaments, everyone can change and grow through application and experience. People with fixed mindsets see having to work hard as proof that they are not smart enough or good enough to achieve anything. And with all honesty, I was this person. I was never good at tests. In high school, it was really hard to study. It was really hard to read. So when I got into college, I didn't believe I could succeed. I wouldn't read because I didn't believe I could read. And I wouldn't study because I didn't believe I could pass my test. And it wasn't until I decided to say, you know what, let me change my perspective on how I see myself. Because everybody's saying, what you speak, you bring into existence. So then one year, I literally read books back to back to back, nonstop, even if I didn't understand it. And even if I would read out loud like I am right now, like some words I can't really pronounce well because of how I didn't believe in myself. But the more I pushed myself, the more I just forced myself to read. And I would read the same page for 2 hours straight because I just couldn't comprehend what I was reading. But because I forced myself, now I'm able to read a book fast. I mean, right now I'm doing a video, so I'm not reading as fast as I would want to because I want to give you guys all the juiciness of a book, but I couldn't read. And that's because I would tell myself, I don't read, I'm not a reader. And then when it came to tests, I just started studying. I started memorizing. I started doing everything I could, saying things out loud, writing flashcards, putting things on my phone, listening, recording my voice, listening to myself, like all these things I would put into place just to study for a test, to show myself I could pass these tests. Now, if I read something, it stays and I capture it. But before, like, I had to really push through to break the fixed mindset that I once had. And if that's somebody or something that you see within yourself, just know that there's an escape route. You could escape this fixed mindset. It won't be there forever. I mean, I'm living proof of that, but only I can speak for myself because I've experienced that. Now it's just, you have to believe in yourself. And that's why it goes into you, like you as a person have to believe in yourself. The only person that knows what you're truly going and through and what you're dealing with is you. If you look in a mirror and you see a reflection, you could describe what's going on in your mind. If someone looks through the mirror and sees a reflection, they won't be able to really see what's going on in your mind or tell what's going on in your mind because only you can. So in order to get yourself out of these fixed mindsets, you have to put in the work. Another example. A fixed mindset not only limits your future, it can prevent you from enjoying every aspect of your life. Questions like, will doing this make me look stupid to coworkers? Will I be rejected? If every social setting requires you to feel like you have to prove your self-worth, life begins to feel like a never-ending struggle. Quite simply, living with a fixed mindset is exhausting, and that is why too many people give up. And this couldn't be more than true about myself. Individually speaking of myself, I wouldn't record, I wouldn't read out loud, I would watch what I wear because, just what a person would think of me. I grew up, where I grew up, everybody just knows how to roast. It's a roasting session everywhere you go. And that kind of built the low level of self-esteem I had with myself. So I would have to really, it was hard for me to do something without thinking of being judged. Now I really don't give a damn. Now I'm like, shoot, this growth mindset that I have going on is shit, if I want to go out naked in the world, I'll go out walking naked. I don't care. Cops pull me over, I'll tell them I'm doing a study on myself to see how much confidence I have in myself. But it wasn't until that moment where I decided not to care what the world thinks, because at the end of the day, I go to bed, I shower myself, I feed myself. I clean myself after using the restroom. No one else is gonna do that but me. So why care about what people think, about what people might say? And at the end of the day, once your last breath is gone, you're dead. No one's gonna remember who you are. So make something out of it. And it wasn't until that I decided to say, you know what? Let me start making these YouTube videos. Let me just start doing what I enjoy and what I love and share that with you guys, because, there's a lot of people who I really want to help. I want them to see that me, a very stuck in that old ways of a fixed mindset, that it's possible to truly grow, that it's possible to get yourself out of a situation you don't want to be in. Some of the most influential people in your life, parents and teachers, friends and spouses, discourage you from trying because they have given up on their dreams. Parents and spouses don't want to see you hurt as they may have been. If you train your own mind, it will silence all the naysayers in your life. With a growth mindset, you teach yourself to reframe every fixed negative thought into a potentiality. Instead of thinking, I tried, I failed, ask yourself, are there other strategies I could try? Start embracing obstacles as opportunities, or as Michael Jordan says, if you're trying to achieve, there will be roadblocks. I've had them, everybody has them, but obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. Remember, your future is mutable. Developing a growth mindset takes practice and effort. So here are 6 techniques for developing a growth mindset. Number 1, stop failing and start learning. Every time something doesn't work out the way you would have liked, stop thinking of it in terms of winning or losing. You didn't fail, you just figured out a path that doesn't work. With that one approach out of the way, what is a different technique that might yield a better result? Number 2, you don't need others' approval. You need their criticism. When you constantly seek validation, you are putting praise ahead of learning. Too many people's careers are ruined by praise instead of propelled by criticism. The only path to success is constant learning and improvement. Number 3, track your progress with a journal. Keeping a daily journal is crucial to changing your mindset. It focuses you to take a moment every evening to analyze what worked and didn't work each day. What goal did you set for that day or week? Did you achieve it? If not, what steps could you take to get closer to your goal? People who write down their goals do significantly better in life. Number 4, focus inwardly and not on your image. You don't need others' validation to achieve your goals. Be who you want to be and don't worry about what others think. Part of number 4 is a growth. So when anyone tells you no, they are not saying you can't do it. They're just informing you that you won't be doing it with them. A growth mindset will have you thinking they're lost. So part of growth and acceptance is redefining genius. Genius isn't a gift anointed on a select few at birth. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Number 5, learn and grow from the mistakes of others. Success is not about comparing yourself with others, but we can shorten our road to success by learning from the mistakes of others. I love this one a lot because my dad was the first person to have me think of life this way. But his saying was, a wise man learns from a fool's mistakes and his mistakes, but a fool only learns from his mistakes or doesn't learn at all. And that saying itself, to me, it changed me. It changed the way I learned. It changed the way I had worked. At work, what worked, what didn't work. At school, what worked, what didn't work. At home, what worked with me, what didn't work with me. That itself, that alone, that was one of the advice. My dad is a very smart man in my opinion. And I say that because he's my dad, but because of what he taught me, I don't think anybody could have taught me as good as he did. And that was one of the many things he has taught me. But I'm like, man, this has never left my mind. And then for this to be in a book, learn and grow from the mistakes of others, couldn't be more truer than anything at all. Number 6, practice gratitude. Take time every evening when you are journaling and every morning when you first look in the mirror to practice gratitude. Motivational speaker Zig Ziglar aptly noted, people often say motivation doesn't last. Neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. The antidote for self-pity and negative thinking is gratitude. Find something in your life to be grateful for. You may not have a private jet, but be grateful for a roof over your head and food in your stomach, and the fortitude to continue executing on your goals. Start with basic manners of saying thank you when someone helps you, or holds the elevator, or just interacts with you in any way. Number 6, that itself, my last video I posted was about mental health and how I was able to get myself out of that dark area in my life. And part of that was gratitude. Being thankful for what I have, being thankful for what I'm eating, being thankful to be able to pay my bills, to be able to sleep at night, to be able to shower, to be able to drive, like these little things, just being grateful for. I was able to remove myself from that dark hole I was in my life, from the depression, from the social anxiety, from the not being able to look at myself in the mirror without breaking down, without being hurt. Gratitude was that one thing that took me out of that situation. Check this out. Feeling true gratitude silences all the negative emotions floating around in your head. Regret, envy, fear, and resentment lead to anger and depression. So remember the warning Yoda gave to young Luke Skywalker. He said, "Fear is a path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering." So gratitude enhances your health by reducing aggression. Just spending 15 minutes before you go to bed writing down what you are grateful for, according to a 2011 study published in Applied Psychology, Health and Wellbeing, will enable you to have a deeper, more restful sleep. A growth mindset is one trait that separates achievers from failures. It gives you the outlook and perspective to see obstacles for what they really are. Short-term events that momentarily get in your way. From positivity and gratitude grows perseverance. Perseverance, by definition, makes you unstoppable. So that was part 1. Next will be 1.5. 1.5, titled The Future Proofing You Experiment. Let's see how long that is. Not that many pages, but I'll still make that a separate video. All right, so that's it for chapter 1. So I'm gonna be reading from this as well, and then kind of giving my input, because I truly want you to understand what's happening in this book. A part of this experiment, this is literally an experiment we're doing right now, is can this truly make us millionaires? And a lot of it is how much work we put into it, but this videos will be long because it's really gonna go after this book. It's really gonna go after in detail, and I will be reading a lot from the book, and I would be just trying to give you every juice, all the juice that there is to give. It's a juicy book. It's not that thick, but it's very juicy. And that's the importance of these videos. So for those of you who are interested in joining me on this journey, that's cool. That'll probably save you from reading this book. And that's pretty much it. For those of you who want to just buy this book and read along and kind of put your inputs in the comments, I truly appreciate that as well. But thank you for watching this video. Just make sure to like it, make sure to subscribe, and let's hit this journey. Let's really make this something unforgettable.